I'm going to post bonus content, stuff that I can't post on YouTube because it could get me in trouble. And I'm going to post it on the Patreon. So if you haven't signed up yet, $5 a month gets you full access to all of the special goodies that are hiding behind the paywall. Patreon.com/Neil P. Sign up. Not only are you going to get this and all of the podcasts early, but you're going to get the shit that I couldn't put on YouTube. Here we are once again. Another SUPcast, another day, another beautiful SUPcast. And this is the thing. I took a break when I moved. I got out to Michigan. I got my feet wet. I reacclimated to my surroundings. And I'm back on the fucking horse now. I'm so fucking busy now that I literally don't have time to sleep. Between 2 jobs, helping my lovely mother, and doing this podcast, getting the fucking band back together, and then what else have I been doing? I'm a busy motherfucker, dude. So I'm hitting it hard. I'm going really hard. And I'm working really hard. And you know what? I'm seeing growth. Not only with the podcast and the view count, but I'm on this thing called TikTok, right? TikTok.com/@Neil P. You should follow me. Either way, there's a dude and there's dudes and there's people on TikTok that are making like amazing and fun content. And this episode, I happened to connect with 2 kings of TikTok, 2 of my favorite TikTok creators, and they happen to be roommates, and they live together. They make content together. They laugh together. They love together. They skank together. They mosh together. They punk rock together. And I had the pleasure of talking with Matt and Kyle, aka gravmasterhash and juulthief, from Asbury Park, New Jersey. And this is like this is one of my favorite podcasts because it's just a bro down. We're literally screaming half the time. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this intro nice and quick, and we're going to get right into the conversation I had with Matt and Kyle, aka gravmasterhash and juulthief. Most of it I could put on YouTube and most of it you will see, but there's probably like a good half-hour chunk that's going to be bonus on the Patreon. So sign up for that motherfucker and strap yourselves in because we're about to go punk. We're about to go butt deep into the underworld and the underbelly. And Matt is a very passionate human being and right the fuck on. Everything Homeboy stands for and his crew stands for is like why I got into punk rock in the first place. And it's lovely because during this whole pan sandwich thing, and the pan sandwich is like just now ending. It's like you connect with people through things like Zoom, and we did this interview on a Zoom thing. And it was just, what's so cool about the internet is I've been watching these human beings' content on TikTok and feeling like I'm getting to know them. And so it's weird when you actually like bro down over Zoom with someone that you feel like you already know. It was like really comfortable, and there's mutual respect too because I, run the Reagan Youth socials now, and I've been trolling a lot of right wingers on the Reagan Youth socials, which has been a lot of fun, but also it's been pretty taxing on my mental health because you wouldn't think that a band like Reagan Youth, which is like a left wing political anarchist peace punk band, would have to deal with right-wingers in the comments spewing hate. But it's been a kind of a fun experiment because I've been posting a lot of stuff that's really been drawing a line in the sand. And a lot of the chuds are finding their way out. Either that or I'm fucking yeeting them. If they post hateful and transphobic shit on the Facebook, you're out. Fuck you. Yeah. So, but that's how Gravmaster and I became acquainted, is because on the Reagan Youth Instagram, I followed him in his Instagram and just said, I can't believe you follow Reagan Youth. You're like my favorite TikToker. And then however many days later, we're doing a podcast together. So life is fucking crazy. Everything's connected. The future is now. The internet, it is the great equalizer, and we're all touching each other and rubbing each other and complimenting each other. And it's one big love fest. It's one big bro down. So I'm a happy dude. I'm going to make this short and sweet. But if you want to see that bonus content, get on the fucking Patreon. It's only $5 a month. You spend more on a fucking latte every day when you go to Starbucks, you fucking capitalist swine. Anyway, my name is Neil Patterson. This is the SUPcast. Let's get into it. Let's roll, baby, baby, baby. Yo,
what's up?
Crazy dude, fucking, I can't believe this. Right now I'm here with my two favorite fucking TikTokers, and what's crazy is even before I was following these motherfuckers, they were just on my For You page. And what's weird is with this internet shit is you're on the internet. I'm doing my intro right now, by the way. You're on the internet. The camera isn't on, you guys. You're on the internet, and next thing you know, these people kind of become inundated into your life, and they become like, you seem like, you feel like you almost know them. And that's the case with the homies, gravmasterhash and juulthief, which are here. Fucking SUPcast number, this is number 60 or whatever. Yeah, this is my podcast, SUPcast. My name is Neil Patterson. I'm a guy, I'm a weirdo, I'm a dude, I'm a thing, I'm a human. Dude, I can't even believe you guys are here. What's up? Hi.
What's going on? Thank you for having us.
Okay, I want to, first and foremost, my hands are shaking, dudes. I got to calm down. It's weird. I get excited about shit. So, I just want to preface the whole Reagan Youth thing. Like I run the Reagan Youth socials now, right? But I'm the new guy. I'm like the 20th singer, you know? So,
yeah.
So when you got all excited about me sending you a DM, keep in mind that I'm essentially just the downtown brown guy that recently got asked to be in Reagan Youth, and I'm a little.
But that's more exciting.
Yeah, it's sick.
Why is that more exciting?
Because downtown brown, you guys opened for the Addicts. And I showed up early to that show. I remember because I was just excited. It was the first time I was seeing the Addicts. And you were the opening band. And there wasn't that many people there. And I remember thinking the whole time, like, I'm so glad I showed up early for this. This is fucking awesome. You had a song about Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yes.
And you talked a lot about ICP. And that I connect with.
Well, that's something we do. We have a song about how pretty much the machines have already won. Hence, the song's called "Terminator 2 is Right," and we do the big heavy metal like Terminator intro and whatnot. But I remember that show very vividly because it was at Wonder Bar. It was in Asbury. Is it Asbury Park? Is that how it's pronounced?
Asbury Park.
Asbury Park. And I just remember, there wasn't very many people there because the previous nights of the tour, we were on the run with the Addicts for like. It was like a 6 or 7 day run, but all the shows were like fucking like packed to the gills, sold out. And for some reason, like that show didn't pop off as much. And I remember
it's a smaller venue.
Yeah. And what else do I remember about it? I don't remember much more about it. I just remember the bass player at the time. His name is Dave. He just was kind of like watching us hanging out like right in front, like where the barriers are. And I kept making jokes about Bruce Springsteen and shit. So
yes. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a fun time, and it's one of those times that makes me I always try to show up as early as possible, but it was one of those definite times where I'm like, I'm so glad I got here early. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, and that blows my mind too because this is just wild. This is one of those like, dude, Tay Zonde commented on one of my TikToks. Tay Zonde, the Chocolate Rain guy.
Chocolate. You were the person that acknowledged that Chocolate Rain was on. Like I refer to him as Chocolate Rain, but what is it? Chocolate Rain was on TikTok. I was like, oh my god, this guy's on TikTok.
Dude, Chocolate Rain, Tay Zonde is on TikTok, and I duetted it. Well, and that's what's so weird about right now, because if I wouldn't have sent you that message, we wouldn't be doing this right now. So my mind is blown because I like, it's weird. I feel like I fucking know you dudes.
Thank you. I mean, I that's cool. I feel like, it's this funny thing about punk rock. It doesn't matter how popular it is. It doesn't matter how like trendy or fashionable or whatever that is. If you're really into punk and you meet or connect with another punk, you immediately are like, oh my God, I found another one. and it's like, it's this super excitement. It's like being like a shinobi and you're very secretive and like, or a vampire or something. And you're like, that's another fucking vampire, bro. Did you just see that? It's like, he saw me too, right? Like,
bro, it's the same thing with juggalos, honestly. Like it's anything that's part of that DIY culture.
Correct.
You see a juggalo at a truck stop and they're wearing an ICP jersey and you say whoop whoop, they look at you and they say whoop whoop and they know. They know.
I credit all of my like success on TikTok to juggalos and juggalettes because
how so?
I did good. Like I made videos, people enjoyed them or whatever. But I've been making this argument my entire life that if you are part of DIY community, you can't have nothing but respect for ICP. And I made that. It was supposed to be one video, and it ended up being like 4 or 5 because people kept asking for more. And I now know way more than I ever thought I would know about that band, and I'm very happy that I do.
Yeah,
like I'm happy with all the information I've gained.
So I don't fucking care about clout or anything. Like my day job, I scoop rich people's dog shit, and I just quit that job and I'm a caterer. But then I do this rock and roll stuff because it makes my dick hard, you know. But dude, we just got an invite. We're playing Violent J's house on the 19th, and yeah, dude. So like, I life is so fucking weird. This is like the best month of my life. Like I moved out of California, everything caught on fire. I lost my job, my whole life exploded, and I came back to Michigan, and all of a sudden, just like shit's popping off. I'm really happy, dude. I'm playing Violent J's house, dude.
Dude, that's amazing, dude.
What the fuck?
Amazing.
What the fuck? But let's get to y'all because this is like supposed to be like an interview show, but I have a feeling like this might be a little bit more of an exchange because
it's gonna be a hardcore bro session.
Yeah, I'm just. I'm hard, I'm core, I'm whatever. But okay, so are y'all like born New Jersey, like through and through the whole life?
Yeah. I've lived here my entire life. So.
Particularly in Asbury?
No, I'm from like 20 minutes south of here. I'm from like Brick, like Point Pleasant area. I graduated from Brick, so I would say I'm from that area. That is also another prevalent like punk community in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And I moved to Asbury about 6 years ago because that kind of was the wave. Like, New Jersey is a very interesting community based on just the small amount I have traveled and met other punks and met other communities. We are, without talking about it, working together. Like we're like, there's a psychic weird, not like discussion where we all just psychically agree, like we're going to focus our attention here. So we all kind of agreed about 5 years ago, like Asbury's where we're going to focus most of our attention.
Okay. And what's up with all the Dunkin' Donuts?
What, we have a lot of Dunkin' Donuts? Yeah, we do. I mean, they're on every corner, every place in New Jersey, there is a McDonald's, a 7-Eleven, and a Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, because in Cali, I was there for 5 years, and it was just 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven. And I just noticed whenever we go to the East Coast, whether it's New York City or Jersey or any of the surrounding areas, it's Dunkin' Donuts, like everywhere. It's crazy.
It's always funny to get those perspectives because to me, it's just like, yeah, there's Dunkin' Donuts a lot of places. Like, I never really even thought about it.
There's a lot.
Like hearing for somebody else, they're like, you have an absurd amount.
It's an absurd amount. It's absurd.
I have one literally outside our neighborhood. It's in a gas station, so I agree with you.
They're fucking everywhere on the turnpike. They're like every fucking mile. Like it seems.
Well, we have a lot of like other places. I don't know about this, but any place I've ever traveled on their turnpikes, they don't have a lot of rest stops. Where like New Jersey is like we have one every like few like maybe 20 or 30 miles or something like that. There's like a big ass rest stop with a bunch of convenient stores, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts.
I love those fucking rest stops. Because I pee a lot when I'm on tour with my band. I drink too much water, so I have to stop every hour to urinate. So,
being vegan, it should be renamed. I like to pee. Like I want to pee a lot. Like because I feel like like the minute I started that diet, I was like, I have to go to the bathroom a lot. There's a lot of water.
Yeah. Are y'all both vegan?
No, just me.
Okay. How long?
I was vegan for 6 years. I got diagnosed with neuropathy about 2 years ago, and my doctor convinced me to change my diet. That went on for about 1.5 years, and I think it's been about 7 or 8 months, maybe a little more than that. You know, almost a full year. I think around July, I decided to stop eating all that crap.
Did it help with the neuropathy?
My neuropathy, the thing that really helped with my neuropathy was the CBD. And just taking care of myself and like trying to like exercise a little bit and stuff. But I feel that the reason I really changed my diet was the doctor at the time I was talking to was like a friend of mine who was a pediatrician who had just graduated medical school.
Okay.
And like I had no health insurance. So he was like, yo, I'll help you out. And he
That's
just
dope.
was against veganism. So I think he was just like, yo, this is what's killing you.
Wild. So a doctor told you to eat meat?
He told me I had to change my diet. And he's a pediatrician. That's like a kid doctor, right? I mean, you're still a doctor.
Yeah.
But either way, he told me that, and I did for a while. And I just was eating more of like a, what is it? Paleo diet, kind of like I was avoiding gluten and wheats and stuff like that. And then I went and got an actual neurologist because you need a specialist for neuropathy. And the first thing I asked him was about the diet. And he was like, what are you fucking talking about? Eat whatever you want. Like, just don't eat like a lot of sugar and fat and shit. Like, everybody just eat good.
Yeah, it makes sense. My girlfriend, my girlfriend's brother's actually a pediatrician, and he works in New Jersey at a hospital. Imagine that. What's a quinky dink? We just were in New York City, and I want to talk a little bit about this because like leading up to Reagan Youth's gig in New York City that we just did was that fucking big outdoor show at Tompkins Square Park. And that's the topic of the year, I think. Of the year? But
I feel like, what is it in punk? Like, regardless of what community you are a part of, there's like, we're all trying to shoot to have a great, perfect, huge show. Yeah. And there's like maybe 7 of them a year, like scattered across the world.
Right.
And like, that was one of those big events that people kind of gave that weight to.
Yeah.
And I remember like, cause I'm from like, I have good friends that went to that event. Like, I know lots of people that were part. I know even people that were like part of the setup and stuff. And like, I read about it and I was like, that seems weird. Like, is that really happening? And I just kind of like moved on. And then when I saw the images and I heard the stories from my friends that like either left during the show or like were just overly upset that they were there or like that was the reaction from a majority of my friends, is that they were just like, I kind of feel like I just was with the bad guys for a moment, like, and it just, okay, the event happened. It was what it was, and they did things. But it's such a simple thing. It's like they just can't admit that was a bad move. Like, is it that hard to be like, oh, yeah, that was a bad move. We shouldn't have done that. And instead, they like doubled down and all this like very like anti-COVID, anti-mask, like conspiracy theory stuff like weeded its way out. And you were like, oh, okay, you're crazy. Oh, okay, I see now.
Yo, and the thing is, they made fucking merch saying, I survived the Madball show. Have you seen any of that shit? They actually made...
I have not seen the merch.
It exists.
Even as a person that was adamantly against that, hilarious.
Yeah.
Straight up. See, this is the problem with being a punk. We're all scoundrels. So, like, the minute somebody does something fucked up, we're like, okay, first, how funny. But second of all, like, come on, guy. Like...
It's kind of funny. I got a kind of a chuckle out of it. But at the same time, like, what if it was a super spreader event that did cost people their lives and then they doubled down and made that merch, then it's just, the whole thing is just, it's funny. They're being trolls, but also,
the part that upsets me really corely is like, I feel like for so long, punk and hardcore has been a kind of talk when it comes to like, being on the right side of history. When it comes to these like really big social issues. Yeah. And like, here we are, we're preaching that we're on the side of marginalized groups. And these people are fighting for their rights and going out and risking their lives to protest and stand up for themselves. And we're throwing a big show and saying, fuck you. And like, it also like all you had to do is wait 2 months. Like we're really at that point where like, in a month or two, you throwing an event like that wouldn't have been so crazy. And like, just the fact that you were like, I'm just going to push through the first opportunity. It was very high school-y. Right. And like, that's the problem with hardcore in general. There's just such a high school mentality and way of thinking. And I understand that when majority of the leading faces in that group are a group of people that dropped out of high school to tour Europe and smoke meth. Right. Like I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, would have joined you.
But then they all found Bhakti yoga and started doing Ironmans and shit.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's like this weird, like, it's this weird, like Joe Rogan, like mentality to life where it's like you meet somebody and they sound open-minded in a way and progressive because they like things that are kind of like that. And then all of a sudden they come in with this trope that you're like, what? Why am I dealing with that here? You know, like, why am I dealing with that level of ignorance in this community? But really, I think it's a thing of coming to age. You see problems from a different perspective as you age in this community.
Oh, absolutely. Because I was thinking about when I was a puppy punk, and I actually wanted to tell you this story. Like, we got on in 2004, my band Downtown Brown was opening up for the Aquabats, and we literally thought we were the shit to the point where us and all of our friends went backstage and we drank all the Aquabats beer. Okay, first of all,
they're Mormons. They don't drink beer. It's okay,
dude. They had beer on the riders. So first of all, and then second of all, we get up on stage and start playing, and we're just like, "Yo, hometown, we got this. We're playing in front of all these people. They weren't there to see us, but we thought we were the shit. So we're playing over our set time, and then the dude from the Planet Smashers is side stage, and he's screaming at me, and he's just like, "You guys are fucking done. You're going over. You're going," and he's like having a fucking conniption, and I'm just like, "Whatever, bro," and then like you know, so it's like, it's what you're saying, like coming of age and then realizing that, hey, punk rock isn't about being a total fuckwad and saying fuck you to everyone. It's actually deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel, go ahead.
I feel like that's why sometimes when like younger kids do little things, I'm like, okay, remember like 10 years ago, guys, you know, like I'm like, you know,
right.
Like, let's show this motherfucker that he's like, we can help him, you know, like, it's not lost yet. He's 18. Yeah.
So I like that. I like that. It's not like, let's eviscerate this human being for making a mistake. You know, let's right. show them. Let's hold their hand.
Especially at a young age, because it's like, it's really excusable because you're just full of vinegar and fire. And you're in these settings where it's probably, for some people, it's the first time they're not supervised.
Right.
For sometimes it's the first time they're feeling like themselves or feeling confident for the first time. I jokingly say to friends growing up my whole life, punk rock is everybody's second chance at being cool. Because it is, because a lot of kids grew up in a community that, or just felt like an outsider for so long. And this is this thing where everyone accepts you for being weird and different and like being yourself.
Yeah.
And being an individual. And people think it's so much about like, I think people paint us with a really short brush of just like, it's kids that dress like this and like music that sounds like yelling.
No.
And there's just so much more to it, because the people that I feel like, especially nowadays with things like TikTok and social media and stuff, the people that really get highlighted are more unique than anything. You know, like there's a uniqueness to them that people see and they're like, yeah, something about you, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. I also wanted to like revert back to the whole full of vinegar thing. Okay, so get this. In 2007 when we were on Warped Tour, I remember me and my bandmates, we were fucking loaded, and Haley Williams from Paramore was walking by with all of her bodyguards, and we started barking at her. Like, and you know what's so fucking weird is like lately I've been driving around in the shit cleaning truck because I clean rich people's dog shit, and I've been just like listening to nothing but Paramore and Olivia Rodrigo. And it's wild because I'm just thinking to myself, dude, fucking 13 years ago, I was blacked out barking at this human being, and I love her, and I love her. So what's wrong? Yeah. Anyway,
that's hilarious and could be interpreted in a bad way, but I also love that it wasn't.
Yeah.
What is it? I have a Paramore story also.
Let's hear it.
They played at Convention Hall about, I want to say like 10 years ago now. Like when Asbury was just coming up, like from an uptick, like they were starting to put money into the town and stuff. I was working at Convention Hall as like just doing like bar running and different like little side jobs. I was also terribly addicted to heroin. So I obviously was high. Right. And I decided to like hide in the back and fall asleep somewhere high, like just be high. And I saw an amp that was like towards the stage, and I was like, no one's going to see me here. And I was just like laid against the amp and fell asleep. Oh, they did. They performed with me sleeping against the back of the thing. And my friends have videos of them in the audience zooming in on me, like just nodding out, like sleeping. I like that they just ignored me. They're like,
yeah.
he's tired like a cat. Like just found his little spot here. But I eventually, during halfway through the set, got up and like looked around and then walked off.
Now, okay, so I'm a recovering alcoholic, 12 years. I used to black out, piss myself, wake up places. I used to make terrible decisions. I used to drive vehicles. I used to get drunk at work and then drive these big ass cube trucks, like almost blacked out. I've made a lot of terrible decisions. But when I talk about those stories, I'm always like laughing about it or like making jokes about it. And I'm wondering, like, with your addiction issues that you've had in the past, are you able to do the same?
I feel that that's part of what helps me deal with it, because it's embarrassing. Like,
absolutely.
It's embarrassing to think I acted that way or I treated people that way.
Yeah. And
the only way I can like live my life and move on is be like, wow, that was a character, and just kind of like laugh it off. Because I literally meant no one ill will.
Of course.
Maybe I did. I was pretty high, so.
Yeah, of course. And that's the thing is, like, I'm a sweetie, I think, or my mom thinks or whatever. But like when I got the sauce in me, I would invade people's space. I would like it was weird. I would like I dressed up like the Burger King, and like we'd be playing a show, and motherfuckers would like come up to me and be like, oh, the Burger King. And then I would just be all loaded. And I'm an over 200-pound guy. I would just like put my arms around them and then drop my dead weight. And I would drop like 3 kids to the ground and then just like lay on them. And you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I would never, like, when I'm sober, I'm super mindful of people's space, of vibes and shit, but I didn't give a fuck about that. Like I was in LA playing a gig with some band at the Viper Room. And I remember I kept like, I don't know. It's shit that wouldn't fly right now. I kept like fucking grabbing this guy's butt who was in this other band and like, but kind of like in a playful way. But it's just like, it's like shit I would never do sober. Ever. I'm 12
that
years.
mentality is what comes across mostly, because I always felt very aggressive when I was in that grips. And I feel like that was really what made me realize I had a problem, is I'm just not an aggressive person. Yeah. And for me to like challenge people and to like really provoke people like that, it was just like really out of character for me, and I didn't like it.
Same, dude. Yeah, absolutely same. I became a different person. I would like black out on stage and forget how to play my instrument, and I thought it was like funny. I was like, this like my mom came to one of my gigs in Detroit, like a hometown gig, and I forgot how to play my instrument and sing, and I was up there and my whole band left and my mom left. And she just like talked to me the next day. She's like, Neil, I've never been more disappointed in you in my entire life. And I forgot my guitar. I forgot my $1,300 Gibson Les Paul at the venue. I just left it, and I didn't know where my guitar was, dude. Yeah,
it's baffling. It's baffling, like looking back at those situations and thinking about the way you acted or did. It's like seeing a movie or watching like a TV show or something of yourself, where you're like, what? Somebody call somebody.
Yeah.
I've never felt that way. And it was like, and I think that that's what pushed me towards like, I just didn't like being perceived that way. And I eventually was like, I'm going to do something about this. Like I have to do something about this. And I think that was the driving point. Yeah. But anytime I've ever been asked, like in a meeting or someone trying to get clean, like people always ask like, what keeps you going with like not going back to dope and stuff? Number one answer, falling asleep with the TV on. It's the security of knowing I have a home and that I could turn the TV on and just fall asleep to it. Like that subtle little things in life. Like,
yeah,
it's the really little things that make me go, no, I don't want to do that anymore because I can't do this.
I like that. It's simple, but it makes total sense. It's like you have that security and you don't want to lose that.
It's just little. I tried the 12-step thing. Like I tried to do everything they tell you to do and all that stuff.
Yeah. And
I remember what I got out of NA is I sat in the back of a room and they do that mantra. They have a bunch of sayings.
Of course,
one of the statements is about how it's a way to tell you wait 2 years to date. They go, get a plant. If the plant doesn't die after a year, you get a pet. And if the pet doesn't die after a year, you're ready to date. And I'm in the back of this place going, I need a cat. I'm like, that's what I need, bro. A cat will keep me straight. It worked. I mean, like I got Professor like a few weeks later off of Craigslist, and I've had that cat ever since, and I've been cleaning dope ever since.
Oh, that's
because it was just the idea that I was like, this thing needs me to keep my shit together, so that it can have food, and it didn't do anything. It's just like a nice little cat,
right? But still,
and a lot of people's cats are very like distant and stuff. Mine is like right here, where we have to keep him over there because he'll like smash against me at all times.
Oh, that's lovely though. That I like that a lot. I mean, it's wholesome. It's wholesome. Okay, so let's get into. Okay, we talked about a little bit about addiction. We talked about the Madball thing. Oh yeah, let's get into. Okay, so after the Madball thing, right? And there was that big backlash. The people in Reagan Youth, they're like, well, okay, we have a gig scheduled at Tompkins Square Park, which is the same fucking park that Madball just did their big thing at. And we're like, are we going to do this gig or not? They're like, let's do it, but let's promote wearing masks if you're not vaccinated, right? And so we decided we have 65K on Facebook, and y'all know about Facebook. We put that meme. I don't know if you saw that meme floating around where it says it's like a punk with a mask on it. It's a skin with a mask on, and
yes,
they're
I
like,
remember. I have it. I've used it several times.
Okay, so we posted that meme, and our Facebook page it got like 4.5 thousand reactions, and our Facebook page was just inundated with all of this. Your punk isn't about following the government, and all these boomers lost their fucking minds. They lost their minds. They like we're out for blood. They're sending us like fucking death threats and shit for just saying, because we didn't want to be those people that threw a fucking show and were like part of that wake of the Madball shit. We wanted to be the anti-John Joseph, so we did that, and it was just hilarious because Instagram, everyone's chill about it. But just Facebook, for some reason, that's where all the punk dads hang out. It's like dad punk center. It's dad punk fucking apocalypse, dad punkalypse. Like, where did these people come from? And how did they grow up listening to this music and come to the conclusion that trans lives don't matter, that masks don't matter, that community isn't punk? Like, who are these people? How did this happen?
These people it's very simple. They're simpletons. When you are a simpleton, and things aren't black and white and 1 and 2, it's hard to actually understand, because it takes more than like one thought to go, oh, okay, it should take that one thought. It should be real simple to be like, they're people, they deserve rights, like end of story.
Yeah.
But everybody takes everything as an aggression, and everybody takes everything like, if they're not included for some reason, we're excluding you. Like, that's not how things work, Mm-hmm. And as far as those guys go, like all of those older, leaders of hardcore punk, these guys wrote albums 35 years ago. One good album 35 years ago. Why the hell am I still listening to them? Like, what the hell do I give a fuck what you think? I do, like, what have you done now? Like, you are literally like, don't get me wrong. If I wrote one song that people wanted to hear for the rest of their lives, I'd play that fucking song till the day I died. So right. No harm on them for playing that same album. Fuck, I want to hear that album again, But to sit here and act like you deserve respect and credibility, you wrote a good album. Your pat on the back came from the $10 at the door, bro. Chill. Like, what do you want? Like, there's no fucking heroes here, like this is punk, bro. And like, and this idea that your punk is better than what's new. I've been going to punk shows for 21, 22 years. It gets better every fucking year. Don't give me that shit. Oh, it was better when we were younger and we could push around girls and beat up everyone who was smaller. Fuck you, bro.
Right.
You're a bunch. All you are is just baby boomer bullshit. I don't know where these people come from. Really, honestly, I think that we have a huge problem. Like, we call people posers. Our problem isn't posers. Our problem is fucking tourists. It's these people that join punk for a year or two or played in one band because they knew how to play bass and like understood how to play the root notes of like something, and then they drop out of the scene because everyone hates them and they're fucking racist and they say a bunch of stupid ignorant shit, and then they go and marry some girl named Buffy and tell her stories about how they used to beat people up. Like, these people are not fucking punks. They're fucking tourists. They come to 4 big shows a year and they tell all the young kids that they don't know what punk is. You know, like that's what it is, dude. I watch it in my scene, dude. I'm 36 years old.
Right.
I watch so many of my friends that like used to go to shows when we were 18 and now they fucking do CrossFit and have like 3 kids, and they're like fucking telling me how, I fucking can't stand cancel culture. Shut the fuck up. You know?
Let me
like, dude, first of all, cancel culture doesn't exist. People don't get canceled. They got shit on for a few months online and then they go back to playing shows and nobody cares. Shut up.
And if anything, it's just holding people accountable for being fucking assholes, you know? What's wrong with that?
What is so wrong with being like, hey, you were wrong here, bro?
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate you forever. You're not like the worst person. You don't deserve to go to jail. You were just fucking wrong.
Unless you're Bill Cosby. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that you're going to jail for that. Yeah,
fuck that guy.
Okay, a lot of people.
Okay, real quick, I want to read you this comment that a dad punk left on the Reagan Youth Facebook page. I just want to read this comment. Okay, John W. Weber Ziggy says, here, let me put the voice on.
Here we go. Okay. This is the thing, guys, okay? Listen carefully. Most of the people following you liked your music when we were kids. Now we are grown, and we see the world the way it is. But you, it seems, are still living in a socialistic dreamland. Grow up, guys. It was good while it lasted.
Like, dude.
It's a real simple reply to that. What is socialism? Tell me what socialism is, and I'll listen to you, because I guarantee whoever left that comment cannot define what that is.
It seems
also
to be
like
Go ahead, dude.
The world's fucking like growing, you know, like we're being like better to each other and shit, and they're just like, this makes me uncomfortable. I can't bully trans people now. This sucks.
Yeah,
like,
I thought it was supposed to like throw shit at homeless people. Fuck this.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's actually, Matt, that's a smarter response than what I wrote. I just wrote, you sound like my dad, and it got 1.1K likes. So yeah.
He does. I mean, honestly, he does. But it's these funny things where like I got a conversation with somebody and they told me to like go to, I can't remember, I think it was Venezuela, and they were like, go to Venezuela and ask them about communism, and I'm like, they're not a communist country. I don't understand like what I was like, I think they're gonna I bet they would tell me the real definition. I bet their education system is good enough where they and my dad tried to tell me something about Israel recently, and I was like, your perspective of Israel is from 1991. I was like, I do not want to hear this conversation anymore.
Yeah, I feel like socialist and is just like a buzzword that Ben Shapiro throws around. So all the righties are just like, it's just like fear mongering. They throw around these buzzwords and then people are like, well, I'm supposed to be afraid of that. But why are you afraid of that? Do you have a basic understanding of any of it? Or are you just afraid because it's a buzzword? You don't want to share with anybody, you know? You don't want to, you don't want your taxes, like a small tiny bit of your taxes to go to fucking social services when most of it goes to fucking bombs anyway. But we don't have to really get into that. Or could we?
But it's that not understand. It's that lack of understanding. We're all standing here with the nexus of human knowledge in your fucking pocket.
Yeah.
And you used it to not understand what socialism is. You you are literally, someone gave you the sonic screwdriver from fucking Doctor Who, and you were like, I'm gonna open a beer with it. Like that is essentially what you did. All right. Like, I just don't get, like, I spend even before TikTok, I always spent time just like looking up Wikipedia and reading things about stuff and and just curious. I don't know how many times I've heard a word and I'm like, oh, what's that mean? And I just looked it up. Like, what is wrong with admitting, oh, I don't know what that is, and then reading it and being like, oh, I was wrong. I guess it's not that. Like, does that hurt? Like, yeah,
I realized a while back that I'm pretty dumb. Like, I do a few things well, but other than that, it's like if I don't know something, or if I don't know a movie, or if I don't know a band, or if I don't know this, or if I don't know that, I'm just like, what's that? Because I would rather learn than just be like, robble, socialism, fuck you, you're not poser. You know? But Okay, so I have so many more questions. We're already 38 minutes in. This is going very quickly. I don't know what y'all have to do. I have to take a nap before my live stream tonight because I'm old and my body doesn't work. Let's keep going. Okay, so TikTok, it's an app and it's on people's phones. And at first, I was like, this is for children. But then when I got on
Everyone
it,
says that.
well, yeah, I know. But then when I got on it, I'm like, hey, this is kind of fun. And I started, the FYP started showing me things and the algorithm it's weird, but it's oddly specific and pretty good actually, because if it weren't for the algorithm, I wouldn't have saw you dancing on people's graves. So let's get into TikTok, how you started on TikTok, and was it like the onset of the pandemic? Was that when you started, or were you doing it before then? Like,
no, I was on the app for like maybe I was on the app for about a year before the pandemic, maybe.
Okay.
It's funny enough. There's a really young group of kids who have a hardcore band in Perth Amboy, Brute. Really great hardcore band. They're like just out of high school or in high school. These kids, they're fucking awesome.
Okay.
What is it? I know one or two of their older. I know one of their older brothers who throws punk and hardcore shows. He was also in this cool band, Fence Cutter. What is it? Well, anyway, one of them, like, we follow each other on Instagram, and stuff like that. One of them posted a TikTok video where it was like a dual screen and they were like acting like they were like fist fighting each other in separate rooms. And I wrote to one of them, I'm like, oh, that's a funny feature. Like, how'd you do that? And they were like, oh, it's this app, TikTok. So I downloaded it and I looked at it and I was like, this is garbage. And I immediately closed it. And then I don't know I think I saw like someone else posted a TikTok, like they're basically meme videos somewhere. Yeah. And I was like, that's on TikTok. Like, that's funny. I'm going to go look at those. So I spent like the next few like months just watching them. And I was like, oh, this is really funny. It's like a customized YouTube, like a YouTube that customizes to you.
Yeah.
And when I got on the app, it was mostly the popular stuff, the Charlie, the dance girl. It was like all those big accounts. And there was it felt like there was no normal people on the app. So I started like looking for New Jersey. I started looking for punk. I started looking for things I liked, and I really just didn't find any. Mm-hmm. And I just made silly dance videos and played with the app, and nobody liked anything. Like I think I had 400 followers like over a course of a year. So one day I'm at work and the electric goes out. Like, we have no power. So I start playing with TikTok, and I made a video where I made a joke about like, oh, I love it when you go to a hardcore show and some boomer dude walks up to you and like tries to tell you about the Gorilla Biscuits. Like, he's telling like you don't have Google, and I was trying to and I just made this joke about how like, yes, I'm very aware of who the Circle Jerks are. Like, calm down, guy. And like, it really did well. So I just kept making jokes about punk. And then I made a joke about how I don't understand why people spend thousands of dollars to stand on a lawn to basically watch a screen of the band they like, when I spend $15 to jump on stage and sing my favorite songs. And I told the story about the one and only time I saw Fear was on their 40th anniversary. I got a poster with all of them signed from it. And when they played that show, like the second song in, they're playing the song. Some 21-year-old punk from New Jersey jumps on stage and punches the singer right in the face. Just like up the stage, boom, jumps off the stage. I'm like, what the fuck? And I remember thinking like he was laughing, like everyone was laughing. And I'm like, you played music for 40 years and some 21-year-old douchebag punk just punched you in the face. Like, second song was like, welcome to New Jersey. And then I told a story about how every time I've ever seen Death by Stereo in New Jersey, I've seen them like 8 or 9 times. Every time I've seen them, I sing Desperation Train. I get on stage and I get the mic and I sing Desperation Train. That's my favorite song.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw them in New Jersey, before they played that song, the singer goes, where's that guy that always sings Desperation Train in New Jersey? He's like, I saw him in the audience before. We're going to sing Desperation Train. Where is he? And I like got up on stage. He's like, here you go, bud. And I just and I sang the song with them. And like, that to me was such an awesome moment. And like, I told that story, went to bed, posted the video, went to bed. I woke up in the morning. Death by Stereo had posted it on their Instagram.
Tight.
It had like 10,000 likes or whatever, and all these videos. And like, from that point, it's never really stopped.
Yeah.
Like, it's just keeps growing. And then after doing like, I was doing all the informative punk stuff, I noticed that people like put the CEO of things in their like title thing. So I jokingly made a video like asking people like, hey, can I do the punk rock TikTok or whatever CEO? And like Scott, I think it was Scott 2 Network, they messaged like under the thing. They were like, I'm looking forward to my future endeavors with the CEO of punk rock. And I was like, all right, I'm there.
You're there, dude.
You know, I was like, but I mean, I met like I'm friends with Mark McGrath on there, and like we made joking videos together and stuff like that. And like so many different people. I made, was it MXPX followed me? And I made a video where I was like, why is MXPX following me? Why do they only have 40 followers? Like, what the fuck's going on? And the next day they had like 2,000. and like, I was like, well, and made a whole rebuttal to that. And they sent me coffee and like a t-shirt and shit. It's life-changing. I met my partner through TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, like we all create content on there. I've tried to get all my friends involved. And like now my mission right now is to just basically expand that on all social medias and just like introduce everybody to like what it's like to be a New Jersey punk.
Dude, in a weird way, when I watch like all y'all's TikToks, because it's you three on my For You page, like all the time, I feel like it's like watching an episode of Friends, except it's real fucking people, you know? And it's really relatable because, you know, y'all are into the same DIY subculture and whatnot, but it's like, I want to know what you're up to. It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's like I'm watching my favorite characters on my little TV that I carry around with me, except you're fucking real people. And now I'm talking to you on a fucking podcast. So it's wild. Yeah, TikTok is fucking wild.
I mean, we're excited because we're part of a really great community. Yeah. And we've always known that. And like the fact that some people have like connected with the content that we make, to me, I'm just excited because like you say, like, oh, we're like, it's watching like a sitcom or something. I have a lot more characters to introduce you to. You know, like yes. I have so many more people in my life, just as close friends in our group, like our podcast group and just our whole community that has such good bands and such good music and such good art. And like, it really is a special thing to grow up in New Jersey and be part of the DIY community.
Yeah.
And I just like the only people I've ever really pitied are kids that grow up here and aren't part of it. Like, I'm like, you live, like, you know, this is here, right? Like, that's how I always feel when I talk to like muggles. Yeah. Cause I'm like, yo, like what? We have plenty of muggle friends that like participate too. So
yeah, they don't have to necessarily be in all the same shit, but everyone's invited. Like what you say, you know?
It's a very like, and like we said, we're like, we live in Asbury or right next to Asbury. And this, like, before anything, Asbury is a gay town. Like, it's a very gay, huge gay, like LGBTQ community. And then like right under that is punk. Like, it's like there's a lot, like this is that community. And there's a lot of, and we're kind of, it's weird because we're like the Mickey Mouse and Goofy of Asbury. Like walking around with a studded jacket, you will get stopped and people will take photos with you.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I've had friends, like my one friend has his lobes stretched, Dylan, who tattoos at Old Glory. And we were like out on New Year's Eve at our like local like watering hole, Bond Street. And like he walked outside for a second to smoke a cigarette, and like a family of people took a photo with him, like putting their fingers through his ears. And he was like, "I'm a clown."
Those lobes are stinky though, man. I would not stick my finger through some lobes, man.
These ladies put their friggin' like, he's got big ones. You put a few fingers in there, you know.
So we were when we were on tour with the Addicts. Actually, their sound dude. We were at the hotel and. They let us sleep on their floor because we were too poor to get a room, and they're just like, "You can sleep on our floor." So it was like a little fucking sleepover party. But what sound dude was like drunk as fuck, and at the time, my drummer at the time had this really nasty, long, ratty, fucking white guy, like rat, dready hair.
I remember.
You remember that guy? Okay. So
yes, I remember I remember him now.
Because he like would whip him around when he played the drums and shit.
Yeah.
But the sound dude from the Attic straight up was all drunk and he started putting his hair in his mouth, and I'm just like, you don't want to do that, dude. No! This guy doesn't shower for weeks at a time, man. but you know, I guess alcohol, right?
Yeah. It's funny the level of comfort alcohol gives you. It's like the comfort that a child gets in a department store floor Like, I feel like that's the kind of level of comfort. Like, you ever see a kid in a department store and he's just like, fuck this department store. Because I own JCPenney's.
Right. I would always like hide in the clothing and, kind of like.
Yeah, it's a super kid move.
Yeah. I would just
watch
be
your
like,
mother
I'm not here anymore.
Like, true fear go over her face as your evil child mind just fills with delight.
Yeah. So I got another question. When you're at work, does anyone ever come visit you? Like, are they in Asbury and they know you from TikTok and they pop into the store
all the time?
And how does that go usually?
Hey, oh my God, you're here. Oh, I love your TikToks. Like, what's going on? And then they start talking to me about something, and it's either punk, ska, or graffiti.
Okay.
Or how they like those things forever and like they like the videos. I always try to encourage them to make videos. Yeah. Most of them won't.
Yeah.
Or I try to invite them to like an event that we're going to have soon. I'm like, events are coming back. I'll post about it. Like I really don't know what to do. They always act like, oh, it's you. And I'm like, dude, I'm just like, I work at a smoke shop.
Right. I work at a catering company and I scoop rich people's dog shit. Like, yeah. When sometimes people will message me, they'll be like, your music got me through a hard time. And I'm flattered, because I've been doing music for over 20 years. I started my band in fucking 01, and I just turned 40. So I've been doing this shit a long time and I'm really flattered by it. But dude, like, the bass player from Fishbone, Fishbone, right? Yeah. Norwood, he managed our band for a little bit, but even Norwood has like side hustles. Like, just because you're in a band that's influential, or you do something that's influential, like social media, TikTok, whatever, have a big YouTube channel, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like getting by from just that. Like, you got to hustle, man. I
mean, that's definitely my goal. Eventually to like do content creation full time, and I've seen a lot of progression over this year with the TikTok, and I appreciate everyone for supporting me,
of course.
And like all the things, like we just did the pre-order. I had a lot of t-shirts get sold. Thank you so much.
All right.
That really helped because I'm going to be able to use that money to like buy a computer and get the equipment to go to the next level and make stuff. And like, we have real goals to like push towards YouTube and to push towards like bigger things. We've been doing the podcast locally for now 3 years. But like, we've had good local success with that and becoming, because that was our goal with the podcast, is like, we just wanted to be like the little local radio podcast show.
Like Wayne's World.
In the punk. Huh?
Like Wayne's World.
Yeah. And we call it Only Posers Don't Listen to Podcasts. You can find it on all streaming platforms. And it was just like, it was supposed to be like a little inside joke for being part of the NJHC like community.
Okay.
And like, we accomplished a lot over these 2 years and like established ourselves here. And then like with my success with the TikTok and his, and like a few of our other friends, we now, I feel I'm seeing how broad punk is. And I'm seeing like how interesting some of because I truly think that like, especially in punk, especially in ska, like individuals push that next thing, or that next wave, if you will. And like, Ska 2 Network, they've done such great work of pushing that genre and really like giving it the steam of being like, we're not corny,
right?
You're corny, almost that, like, I feel like that nerd culture has done that a lot too. Like, yeah, like anime, you want to fucking fight about it, bro? Like, and I feel like they bring a lot of that energy to the table, and that's great. And I feel like we don't need that in punk and hardcore. We have too much aggression. Like, I feel like what we need now is to show people that we can laugh at ourselves and that we're fun, and that you can be part of the fun too. And that really what being a punk is it's just a certain type of person that gravitates towards this. Like I said, it's like being a different type of person. Like you're like, you're scoundrels. You're all scoundrels. And it's just horror. It's so hard to get things done when you're all like, okay, don't do that. But that's also hilarious. And how'd you do it?
Well,
and it's just, you have such a mentality of that where we're that type of people where you expect. So many people are so afraid to like double down on their beliefs, and I feel like that is just not prevalent here, and we don't understand that. So people like, that's why people like the joke of the dancing on their graves and like the tick thing. I'm taking such a lighthearted song and I'm laughing at the irony of these people who are like, Corona isn't real. Oh my God, I died from it. Like, and it's like, dude, I don't wish death upon anybody.
Of course.
I don't want you to die, but also like, God's taking out the trash. Like my father always said, I don't believe in high, fast speed hurricane rescue. If you want to surf during a hurricane, that's God taking out the trash. And it's just that mentality. Like, you want to take these risks, you want to do things like that. Okay, deal with the consequences.
Yeah, it's Darwinism in effect,
Yeah, it's really. And and we're such a group of people that it's so funny to think that anybody could come here with like conservative or even like negative views towards any group. If you're not here to help and push every person here, then what the fuck are you doing, bro? Because you're going to get a can thrown at you. Like, it's just like, it's that one of the better TikToks and of like the punk TikToks I've ever seen is that young girl like, hey, would you guys help me if something happened to me? It's like that audio and it says conservative punk and it's all emo goth. Like the whole scene is just like, no. It's like, I would just make fun of you, like, and they're all just wailing because like, we're not afraid to be like, yo, ACAP, like every day, all the time. Like, and like, it's funny too, because I get that different perspective, even in our community as along with,
you lost video. There you go. Yeah, I'm still here.
I know I got a low power thing.
Oh no.
But, no, I'm good. But
good.
Anyway, like what I was saying is like, we're starting to build a really diverse group in our podcast. And we purposely tried to do that.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny hearing perspectives from like, Matt, the one person of color in our group, where like, we'll all say ACAP and like, we'll joke, we put it on shirts and shit like that. And Matt doesn't do it because he runs for politics and he talks to the police like directly all the time as a person of color. And like, it's funny to hear the person of color in our group be like, all right, guys, calm it down. And we're all like, because we're all punks and we're like, yeah, fuck yeah. He's like, take that shirt off, guys. Like, and it's so funny because he's with us in a lot of ways, but he's also trying to like be the voice of reason in certain situations when we're dealing with like more political stuff and more like, because we deal with like stuff in the town community. We were trying to push people to vote for the rent control in our town. So that these like money grubbing pigs don't charge anybody whatever the hell they want for their rents and push all the real people out of the town. And like, we were a big part of like telling people like, yo, you got to vote yes for this. You got to make sure that, we can stop these people from charging whatever they want in crazy rents. And like, that was part of that conversation. He was like, don't wear an ACAP shirt when you're saying that, guys. But we need that perspective sometimes,
Yeah, absolutely. And
that's like that. I'm sorry.
Okay, I don't know what I was going to say. You go ahead, dude. You're on a roll. You're on a roll. Go.
That's where that mantra comes from and where we all get that motivation of like, yeah, trans lives matter, sex workers' rights, like all these crazy topics that we talk about all the time, Black Lives Matter. These things matter to us because these are our neighbors. They're people in our community. They're our coworkers. They're our friends. They're our families. They're our loved ones. They are literally the people we're playing shows with, throwing shows with, and going to shows with. And we're not going to, the concept of we know, if you told a punk rocker, like, oh, you can't come to the show, they'll be like, what? And to the concept of excluding anybody from the show, we can't compute. So I don't understand how anybody says they're part of this mind frame and culture and has those mentalities.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, especially because we posted something on the Reagan Youth Facebook page about Trans Lives Matter, and we were inundated with comments saying, sounds like y'all like chicks with dicks and shit. And these are supposed to be punk rockers saying this shit. It's insane.
It's more insane that you care how someone else lives their life. Like, we're punks. We're asking everybody to not give up, like, to let us be, listen to music we want to listen to, play our. I mean, I feel like the whole art, like, the thing I've never understood since the day one of getting into punk is why people are so against us playing music. Like, I've never understood, because I always felt like here's a group of people that there's a large straight edge community. There's a large mentality of like, don't go and get in trouble. Like, get involved in arts and music and things that are cool and interesting. And they fight us tooth and fucking nail to play these goddamn shows. And I feel like that is also goes with the mantra of like, we have to work so hard to get these things and set these things up. How the fuck could I exclude somebody from something I worked so hard to get my friends to be able to do?
Yeah.
You know, like where do you get that mentality? And it comes from this privileged mentality of, you know, running these huge events and being a real booker that works with these things and like looking at people as little, you know?
Yo, I want to tell you real quick. You know that Mitt Romney tweet on the Dead Kennedys page?
Yes.
I know who made that.
Oh, I think we all do.
Okay, who do you think it is?
It's well, if it isn't East Bay Ray, I'd be surprised.
It's not.
It isn't. Who?
I'm going to post bonus content, stuff that I can't post on YouTube because it could get me in trouble. And I'm going to post it on the Patreon. So if you haven't signed up yet, $5 a month gets you full access to all of the special goodies that are hiding behind the paywall. Patreon.com/Neil P. Neil P. Sign up. Not only are you going to get this and all of the podcasts early, but you're going to get the shit that I couldn't put on YouTube.
For Jello and what that band was trying to, for them to become that after what Jello was trying to get across, I feel like that he's one of the true, like, he's one of those heroes in a sense of the fact that it never ended.
Yeah.
For them. And I feel like that's what it is. It's like, it can't end for you. And it's like, he's annoying only because he cares so fucking much. And it's like, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with you caring to the point where it's like oozing out of your eyes, you know, like, like, I feel like that, like him connecting with like, you reposted that video on Reagan Youth for, I believe her band is called Power Violence or Power Velvet or something. I can't remember.
Oh, that's Greg Hetson from Bad Religion's daughter.
I know it
okay.
is. But
okay.
her
Power Violence.
Power Violence. Well, you reposted her video. That was fucking hilarious. And it was so funny how many boomer dad punks did not get that and thought she was fucking serious.
They were correcting her.
It goes to show you how fucking people just can't take a joke and understand subtlety. And then from that, what is it? Jello Biafro's record label reposted the video, and I saw her post yesterday saying that they're considering putting out her music. And it's like, yeah, dude, because that's like, you're seeing the community that is forming on TikTok and on social media and these things become that relevant community in what we always joke as surface punk.
Well, let me just say this, dude, since you fucking thanked Reagan Youth on your shit, like, my TikTok has doubled. My followers have doubled in 5 days. So it's
because we're part of the same mantra of these. We're all like I said, we're thirsty to meet each other. I'm
thirsty.
And like, and we're thirsting for that input. And when I don't care who you are, where you part of what scene, when you're young and you get into punk, you're like, where is it? And it feels like there's like, you have to put fucking, you know, pieces together from some secret scroll to fucking find a show and do these things. Like, even in today's age with technology, it still feels like this adventure that you're going on to find things. And that's why kids like going and being like, I'm into punk. Oh, this guy makes content about that. Oh, where can I find? Because we're all gravitating to where we can find this stuff. And there's what we jokingly put as, I would say you're part of that world, of that like surface punk world, where you're part of these major groups, these things that like people see as that first wall when they're first unveiling. Like,
it's weird.
They pull back the curtain that is reality to look at like the underground DIY. They first find a lot of your guys' stuff and things like Madball and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's great to know that people like you, Scott 2 Network, you know, We Are the Union, Bad Time Records, all these great things are out there to get young punks into it the right way. And like, that's all I'm trying to do. I don't fucking care about making $1 billion or being famous or rich. I prefer to not be famous. Money sounds cool, but
I like money.
But like, yeah, money sounds cool, but like, but at the same time, like, it also sounds like trouble. And I have a very nice, happy life. And what I'm saying is, like, I would much rather people walk away from taking all my content or 10 years from now saying, I got into this music because of this person or because of this content, or this affected me to get me the confidence to get into this, than being a millionaire or going down. I don't need to go down in history. I said it in a TikTok. I want to be like fucking, what is it? My name comes from Grandmaster Flash. Like it's a play off of Grandmaster Flash. And Grandmaster Flash and I forget the other graffiti artist were shouted out in a Blondie song. Like she just has like one line where she says something about Flash.
That rap song.
After going to a hip hop show. And it was like the first hip hop song to like ever hit like the top charts or something. Yeah. And there in no way does anybody like know who she's talking about. But that's what I want in life. I just want to be like mentioned in an important part of something that actually influenced other things.
Well, I think it's just lovely and genuine that you just want to be like, you know, like a lubricant that fucking eases people into this thing that you hold so dear. Just like Scott 2 Network, like they're just opening the door and explaining things in a way and inviting people in, and you really can see it, and you can see it like growing and blossoming and in real time. And especially like that fucking blows my mind that the girl that posted that joke video is actually like Jello's like talking to her. That blows my fucking mind.
It doesn't really blow my mind because that's how punk works. You're 2 steps away from meeting everybody you like in music. I mean, like I said, I saw Death by Stereo 8 or 9 times. By the 8th time, they were like, where's that guy that sings the song, the Desperation? Like, that's how we all look at it. We're super psyched you bought the t-shirt too. Like we're like, oh my God, they're wearing the shirt, they're listening to the song. Like we're more psyched that you bought it and you're excited about it and you're at the show. Like that energy is never lost in people that really love and are part of that community. And like we're hyped for each other. And if you're not, you're just a fucking boomer old man who goes to like 4 shows and likes music that's loud because you think it makes you look cool in your big truck.
I was at the Misfits show in Madison Square Garden front row, brother.
I don't understand that. I don't understand why people paid for that. They did that show without the terrible bassist at like Starland in Asbury, like what is it in Saraville, like years ago. Yeah. They play a Halloween show in New Jersey every year, like my entire life, up until they were like, "Oh, we're adding a terrible bassist and we're reuniting as the full group." Where's Bobby Steele? Where's Bobby
Steele? New York.
He's mad at Bobby Steele because of what is it? His other band getting a good review. That's literally the reason he's not coming back to the reunion. Wow. Bobby Steele was in that band, the Dead Ones or
The Undead.
What?
I think it's Undead.
Yeah, his band came out. And he was Danzig was supposed to release their first album, and they got an awesome review in some like local newspaper or something, and saying, and the review ended with like, "This is what like the Misfits were trying to be" or something. And Danzig got all butthurt, and now he won't talk to Bobby Steele anymore.
I just think it's funny that
what a New Jersey move.
Yeah, you would end a relationship with someone that you've known for like 40 plus years just over some shit that a journalist would say.
I wouldn't, but there are dumb things that I would like go to jail for. You know, like that I know are like a part of me growing up here. Like I grew up like punk rock. I grew up like involved in the graffiti community, and I don't know how much anger I've ever felt towards a person I don't know because they drew over my name. Like I don't understand.
That's a very disrespectful move. From my understanding,
I don't know this person, but I wish death upon their whole family and their dogs and like their future endeavors.
But in that community, that's like the most disrespectful thing you can do, right?
The graffiti is like the total opposite of punk. It's like, do you like gatekeeping? Join graffiti. All right, like get real into graffiti. You'll love it. They'll love you. It's like graffiti's like, hey, are you the worst person ever that likes to paint your name on walls? You're a great graffiti artist, because like the worst human being you are, it seems to highlight yourself in the community.
That's funny. That's crazy. My good friend of mine actually dated a graffiti artist, and he cheated on her multiple times. And he
they're all terrible lies.
Yeah. And he also, get this, he said that she had thunder thighs, and when she was offended by that, he said, "Oh, I thought that was a term of endearment." And I always just thought, I was like, "Hey, buddy, like, yeah." Anyway. Yeah,
I write with mostly like I don't write anymore, but I used to write with more like graffiti, like punk head kind of people.
Okay.
And this kid that like was involved heavily in our like one of our punk scenes. I remember when I first met him, he jokingly, like, he was talking to me and this other kid that wrote, and he was just like, if you don't fuck with punk, I don't fuck with you. And I was just like, what? And he's like, yo, I'm serious. Like, I don't write with people that don't fuck with punk. He's like, that's how it is, bro. And he's like, you got to be a punk for me to write with you and shit. And I'm like, I like you, bro. Like, I don't know, like his weird mentality towards it was just so funny. And like the head of the graffiti crew I was in is like just notorious for being a motherfucker. And he's also not anonymous. Like somebody was going hard with him and he wrote his actual name, like his fucking government name on this dude's wall thing. And like made him join our crew after he beat him and stuff. And like that, it's hilarious. But like those dudes are always been like, when I met them, they had the same mentality that I had when I met a lot of punks. Like, those people piss you off, prove them wrong. Like, go do something about it. Don't like let people let you tell them what punk is. Like, go fucking tell them what punk is. Like, go change it, you know? And like, I feel like I just grew up in a really good scene with really good people that motivated the right things. And like kids, I had kids that were older than me that like jokingly referred to puppy punks as their Padawans. Oh, and would be like, those are my Padawans. Those are not yours. And like would argue with other older punks about it. And like, I jokingly say that to like kids that are like younger than me that I hang with. And like that whole, like you said, the puppy punk thing, I'm so happy that took off. But like, yeah,
are you the originator of that? Is that a you thing?
It was a video I did that did well. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. Because I've been saying it lately. You know,
I mean, I don't think I might have not been the very first person to come up with it, but I originally started referring to people as puppy punks on TikTok. And then I made a video where I was like, we should call them puppy punks instead of baby punks. It's way more adorable and it's more endearing and less offensive.
Right.
Because also they're much puppy punks, like young punks are much more like puppies. They're adorable, but they'll also like rip everything apart and piss on everything. Yeah, like they're like that's exactly what you're like. Oh my god, it's a puppy, but you're also like, oh my god, it ruined everything. And I feel like that's what like babies don't do shit. You know, they just smell bad.
These puppy punks need to be nurtured and they need to be raised with care and love and guidance. You know,
I feel that but see, that's the funny thing about punk. Like you do need to nurture kids into a community and be part of it. But I think you don't need to play with kid gloves. Right. All right. Are we still there? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm getting low on the phone. But you don't need to play with kid gloves with them. You just got to treat them like adults and like treat them like regular people and be nice. And just like, if they don't know something, be like, yeah, this is what it is and shit like that. You're going to get a lot better punks out of that than that. I've watched kids praise a kid too much and them come out like elitist douchebags. And I've watched people bully a kid too much. And now they're like just quiet and silent and super talented. And you're like, talk. You know? And it's just like, I think that's, let them be them. Like, you know, if they want to fucking be more into this thing than you're into, cool. We're going to get that flavor next with the next generation. You know, like I'm excited for what to come in punk, and anybody that isn't, I think you're not looking. You know, like dude, there's so much cool. Like now they have all this like emo trap, like Little Peep influence type music coming into the genre with like e-girls and e-boys and stuff like that. And that shit's fucking fire and it's fun and it's like, and who cares? It's new. Yeah. Like the best part of SLC Punk is when he's explaining that Heroin Bob is the reason they got into punk, and his argument for like, what is this? You know, he turns off the Rush that I'm highly offended by. and then he puts on the music and he's like, what is it, Bob? And he's like, it's fucking new, bro. And like, that's the part that like, I feel is the best part of that whole movie, because it's like, it's fucking new, bro. It's not the same old bullshit that everybody else is listening to. It's new, something cool.
So when I went and saw Ministry in Detroit a few years back, there Death Grips opened, and I went specifically to see Death Grips, and I didn't really know their music. I just knew that Fantano was like a stan, and I'm like, I'm gonna like, because my buddy was on tour doing sound for Ministry, so he got me on the guest list, so I didn't have to pay. And so I'm watching Death Grips, and there's a fucking like a horde of young kids on Adderall just bouncing up and down, and it's insane. And then I turn around, and behind me there's a fucking army of like 45-year-old people with fishnets, like gothed out fucking industrial people with their arms crossed like this, and they're scowling, and they're just scowling at the death grips. And then when death grips got done, fucking, and right before ministry got on, that place fucking emptied the fuck out. And I'm sitting, and
there's nothing better than that.
And bro, I was like, after watching that happen, I'm like, I like death grips. And then I fucking
bro.
And then I got into death grips, and I'm like, and they sample so much old rock and roll on that first the first mixtape, Ex-Military.
It's new.
It's new.
On Clink, they sample fucking Black Flag. It's sick.
Exactly. And it's so fucking hard. And to me, I'm like listening to this, and I'm like, this is the most fucking like fresh punkest thing that I've heard in years, and I just got obsessed with it. But it was how I ingested it the first time, and being in a live setting and watching all the old head and fucking ministry, that it just sold it for me. I'm like, I want this. I want new. You know? Yeah.
Because that's the fight. It's every time you see something new, you're like, fuck yeah, bro. Let's do this. We're still out of here, bro.
Yeah,
if I get cut off, it's because my phone died.
Okay, word. Yeah, and just like that, I'm like in a lot of like hyperpop and stuff, like Gex and Charlie XCX and stuff. Because to me, I'm like, I've never heard this before. This is exciting. It's not the same old shit. Like I want my ears to be stimulated, because I don't know if I necessarily consider myself a punk. I just consider myself a weirdo. I just want to enjoy.
It's all the same.
Yeah, you're right.
All the same flavor of ice cream.
Well, I hope your phone doesn't die. Real quick, okay, Kyle. If I go on OnlyFans, right? If I want to start an OnlyFans, right?
Yeah.
And because my girlfriend says I have really nice feet, right?
Okay.
Ooh, that's a genre.
Do I have to show like my fucking butt and balls and shit
so
too?
I found out that OnlyFans, it can be just like, you don't have to get naked at all.
Yeah,
you can
there's
like
a lot
play
of people
music on OnlyFans.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just do like artsy things. There's even comedians that do like R-rated stuff, like stuff that won't get taken down because they know it's on their OnlyFans.
So it's like a Patreon essentially, but it's it's sometimes geared towards more explicit content.
Yes. You can do exclusive. You can do like adult content on Patreon too. It's just
that's what I heard.
OnlyFans is more known for it.
Also, there's some kind of there's a website just for feet too. That I think things just bang better on that, because it's like people know what they're looking for. Like, all right, guys, feet. Like,
yeah, like.
So if I remember the link, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, let me know, because like, if I can get some sort of supplemental income from just my toesies, then that would be sick. Because I'm fucking broke.
Why not, right?
Why not? Right?
Well, no, you still try it.
Yeah,
there's somebody out there that'll love your toes.
Hell yeah.
They're like, what's weird is I have these big fucking legs, but I had these like petite, like lovely little feet, you know? So I'm thinking maybe there might be a market for that. I don't know.
There's definitely a market for it.
Oh, okay. So if your phone dies, this is over.
Unfortunately.
Okay. How? So should we try wrap it up?
I guess we should. So the phone doesn't die.
Dude, this was lovely. I really appreciate it. First of all, I appreciate you just being excited about the communication from Instagram to begin with, A, and then B, to like just you being down to be on this little show I do. I mean, I mostly talk to my friends on this thing. I have had some notable guests, like I had Monkey from the Attics and whatnot, and I had HR from Bad Brains, which like
that's amazing.
I went on tour with him as his guitar player. I drove him around for like multiple tours, like in my passenger seat. Yeah, so I'm like driving HR, and we're going down the mountains, and you know that bar that you hold on to when you
the Oh Shit Bar.
The Oh Shit Bar. You know about the Oh Shit Bar.
Of course I do. I'm from New Jersey.
Okay, cool. So we're driving down the fucking mountain, and HR was like, we're doing all these windy roads. We're driving from Sacramento. We're driving from Lake Tahoe down to Sacramento, and he was gripping the Oh Shit Bar so hard. And I just remember telling myself, it's like, okay, I'm driving down a mountain. I'm going through all these windy roads. Don't kill HR from Bad Brains. Just don't.
Yeah, that's a good modem.
Don't kill HR from Bad Brains. He's grabbing onto the Oh Shit Bar. It's just moments like that where you're like, I remember in 1996, I went to my first punk show. It was Dance Hall Crashers and Bad Religion at the State Theater, Detroit. And it was the first time I ever was in a pit, like a big one, like a big show, a big pit. And
wow,
it changed my fucking life. It was 1996. I was 15 years old, or 15 or 16, and then like fucking 20 something years later, I'm driving around HR from the Bad Brains, and he's buying me bagels and shit, you know? It's wild.
But that, I feel like we all have that story. We have that story of going to our first show, going to this is the first event where we're like, okay, this is me.
Yeah.
You know, like this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a punk, you know, like, and it's like, and you almost like, I feel like it's one of those, it's probably for a lot of us, the first moment where we're like, that was a stupid statement I made in my head. Like I just said something dumb. Like I'm going to be a pirate or something like, you know, and you feel kind of dumb saying it. And you're like, no, but seriously, I'm going to be a punk. And then like, I know throughout my whole life, I still feel stupid saying it. And now at this age is like the first time where I'm like, yeah, I'm a punk. Like, it's okay.
It is
people
okay.
like it. And like, I don't feel stupid. And like, and I feel like the world has come to accept it for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, and you're the CEO, and and you have Jer's blessing. So there you go.
That meant more to me than probably most things I've done ever. You know, because to me, what they've done for ska is exactly what I want to do for the next generation of punk. But I feel like what they've done for ska, nobody's ever done before.
Nobody.
Like nobody's ever done that ever. I don't think anybody ever will.
No.
You know, and it's just like the history book, that chapter is big and long.
Yep.
For them. Yeah. And pretty much probably the best chapter, you know?
So I saw Jer go off on Finn McKenty on Finn McKenty's ska video. Did you read any of that? Are you a Finn fan?
I enjoy Finn as like a human being. He has a good podcast.
Yeah.
His podcast is solid. Like the interviews are solid. I feel the way Ska 2 Network feels about most of the videos. It feels very much like a person who isn't a fan of these things making kind of a blanket statement about how they feel about these things. When Finn likes something, then it's great. Like if Finn enjoys something or just like enjoys it for even just the nostalgia of it or something, like he did a series of videos about Rock of Love.
Yeah. Oh, those are great, dude.
Like, they're so great. And it's because you can feel like he's being genuine.
Absolutely.
You know, like, and I don't think that the ska punk videos aren't genuine. It just really comes off as I'm an older hardcore head and I don't like ska. And this is my perspective of what ska punk is.
He's pretty,
and it really, like, I don't know how you make a 22 minute video and don't mention Ska 2 Network and don't mention Bad Time Records. Like, I just don't know how you do that. But at the same time, whatever. Obviously, they weren't that interested. That's their opinion. I don't think, like, I just disagree with them. I thought it was a bad video. You know, like, I like a lot of their other videos. I would love to make, I feel like that's where all of us creators need to do is we need to create together and make content and like give people that mentality of like, yeah, sometimes we disagree and sometimes we don't see eye to eye, but we all are part of the same community. And at the end of the day, like we're all punks, you know, like we all want the same shit, you know, like to play music and have a good time and like, and smash dance and shit. And like, and I just feel like I feel like it's a waste of time to sit there and argue about how I didn't like their take or I didn't like that. I'd rather just be like, let's make content I do like together.
Right. Yeah. I just thought
I would much rather sit down with Finn and Ska 2 Network and be like, let's make a video together. You know?
I want to see that. Make it happen, please.
Who doesn't? Who the fuck doesn't? Dude, who doesn't want to see all of us together?
That would be like my internet fucking nut. Like a gallon nut. So,
but you too, like all of us, like if you're ever in New Jersey, hit us up, please. We'd love to make content. If we're ever around you, we'd love to do stuff together because that's what people really want to see. They want to see not these people just shouting at a camera their opinions or making a funny little joke. They want to see us all interact and be together and be a community.
You know,
because that's what they're. Being a young punk is so much like, is this real? Is it in my head? And then like you see people like you or me or people online, you're like, it's real. I fucking knew it.
It is real. And that's what's happening right now. It's real in real time. And you did a video somewhat recently where you're like, hey, shows are coming back. I get to meet you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what's up. Like that's what I'm super excited for. I'm like, holy shit. I get to go to Chicago in July and play a festival. And I get to fucking see my friends, dude. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's coming back.
And that's the real excitement that everybody should have. At the end of the day, we're just trying to have fun and play some music and have a good time and make everybody feel included and have that good time. So if you're like, if you want to fucking hate mosh or you just want to be a fucking douchebag, just go somewhere else, bro. Like there's like metalcore or like racists play music, right? I don't know what they do. Like I'm sure they play like
weird Nazi organ.
I don't know what they did. It's something terrible. I bet the music's fine and the lyrics are just bad.
Who knows?
You're just like, why don't you just don't sing?
Who knows? I don't know. There's 5 Finger Death Punch concerts or I don't know.
I saw somebody wearing that shirt ironically the other day, and I laughed for a good 20 minutes at him.
Does it look like an Affliction shirt, like the font and everything?
Yeah, it looked like he was gonna tap at like one of those tap shirts.
Five Finger Death Punch. Personally, I'm a big Buck Cherry head. Just ironically, my girl and I, our favorite song is a Crazy B Word. That's a good one.
Yeah, the live version's amazing. He's doing a little tirade for like 10 minutes, and he's like, "Yo, I'm sucking my dick. Put my dick in your tits."
what was that Facebook account? What was that Facebook account that would like mash up? They mashed up.
Oh my god.
They did it to Lit, the band Lit. They mashed up like Lit was opening for Kid Rock, and they mashed it up in a way that made it hilarious.
Do you remember
Catatonic Youth?
Catatonic Youth, yeah.
Catatonic Youth.
What happened to them?
Sick.
What happened to them?
I don't know.
We need bring back Catatonic Youth.
I think they're still active. I haven't seen them, but I think they're still doing it.
We need to find them.
It's like those Facebook invites for like Metallica playing an AutoZone or something like that.
Limp Bizkit at the
and like your one dumb friend was like, "Is that real?"
Y'all going to see Limp Bizkit in the fucking parking lot of Denny's?
Some shit like that, bro. It's like we're going to Krispy Kreme to see Slipknot. Or some shit.
Fuck yeah. Well, shit.
All right.
I don't know what to say. I got to take a nap before I got this other like live.
Yeah, understandable, man. We got to go anyway.
But dude, y'all are the shit. I feel like I know you, and I'm really glad we got the bro down. And just keep it up. Keep up everything. I'm following y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. And yeah, like when I do an East Coast tour with my silly band, I definitely want to I want to get fucking nasty.
We'll help you set something up.
Like you said, there's a lot of DIY shit because I'm saying, you know what else I realized after doing this shit with Reagan Youth, because the Tompkins Square thing got fucked, and we ended up like playing, and it shouldn't have been moved inside. Honestly, it's too early. But the cops were like, you got to go inside or it's over. So we played the show inside, and we got flack for that even after putting up the mask post. But doing
you can't win, bro.
Yeah,
it's the internet.
But doing a DIY show with Reagan Youth is just like, dude, it's like I don't want to play a bar ever again. I'm tired of playing bars, dude. I played bars for fucking 20 years.
We can set up some room with like 150 people, and it'll be horribly awesome.
I want to, I literally, I used to bitch about fucking people pouring beer on my pedal board, and it's like I would fucking stab a person to have that happen tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like I miss it, man. I'm ready.
Totally. I can't wait to be in a room full of sweaty people and the smell of cigarettes.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Okay, so hey, plug the podcast, plug everything while I got you here.
So you can find me on Instagram or on TikTok at gravmasterhash. It's gravmasterhash1 on Twitter. What is it? We also have a podcast called Only Posers Don't Listen to Podcasts. It's streaming on all platforms. We also have YouTube pages for Gravmasterhash and the podcast. Kyle?
I'm juul.thief on TikTok and I think Instagram. The period might not be there on Instagram. Listen to my band, UpFux, UPFUX.bandcamp.com. New Jersey ska punk, kind of crack rocky, a little bit. Fun stuff. Check us out.
I'm going to link everything in the description below in the YouTubes. So,
cool.
Dudes, I'm like really tired. I've been up since actually 3:45 in the morning, and I kind of feel like I'm hallucinating, dude. I ate this edible when we first DM'd. I ate a 20 milligram edible. I'm a lightweight. I just eat because I have back pain. I just eat edibles. So I was really fucking high, and then I'm like talking to you. I'm like, is this actually fucking happening, dude? Like, it was surreal as fuck, dude. It was surreal. And
thank you so much for having us on. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate you being you, and just keep it up and being here, and thanks for being on the show. And I don't know what else to say. I'm just rambling at this point, but yeah, concise, fucking passionate, and loving words from a person who gives a fuck about things. Thank y'all. God damn it.
Thank you.
I'm going to post bonus content, stuff that I can't post on YouTube because it could get me in trouble. And I'm going to post it on the Patreon. So if you haven't signed up yet, $5 a month gets you full access to all of the special goodies that are hiding behind the paywall. Patreon.com/Neil P. Sign up. Not only are you going to get this and all of the podcasts early, but you're going to get the shit that I couldn't put on YouTube.